you are good enough just the way you are, and you don't deserve to be treated like shit. You deserve kindness. Hi everyone, I am back with yet another video. So today I'm bringing back a video series that I started a long time ago, and that is how to human. And today I'm going to be talking about something that most people are really bad at, and that is self-care. And just like self-care 101 and things you need to know about how to take better care of yourself if you are really bad at it. In the past few years, it has become more common to talk about self-care and self-love, which is amazing, but we often see it and we see like face masks and people taking a bath and just like things like that, and it's not I feel like a lot of people are just still super confused about how to actually take care of themselves. And even though last year I was a complete disaster and my life was a total mess, and it still is, self-care is something that I am really pretty good at, and that is why I really just want to make a lot of videos on this topic. First, we're gonna start with the things that are probably the most important. So again, we often see like the tiny physical things, which is still great, and I'm gonna get to that later, but the most important way that we need to take care of ourselves is actually, it starts with our mind and our emotions. So the way we treat ourselves, the things that we tell ourselves in our mind, and how we feel and how we treat ourselves when it comes to our well-being, and just like the non-physical things that we can't touch and like physically do, they are the most important. The first thing is be kind to yourself. This is something I kind of talked about in my last video, so if you want to check that out, I'm gonna pop it up on the screen. We treat ourselves really badly a lot of the time when it comes to how we talk to ourselves, what we like tell each other in our mind, and that is the thing that fucks most of us up really, really badly. So, you know, if you don't get something done, you get angry at yourself because you're like, I'm a worthless piece of shit, I'm not good enough, I'm not good at anything, and things like that. And saying that honestly just sounds so brutal, and it's like, oh my god, but I feel like all of us have been really mean to ourselves a lot of the time, and it's just really bad. Like, if someone else tells us that we are useless and terrible and horrible at everything, or if we told someone else that, it's absolutely obvious to us that that is not okay. That is really, really fucked up, and that is just bad, and it should never happen. And yet, that is exactly what a lot of us tell ourselves all the time. So if we don't get something done, if we mess something up, if we do something bad, if we forget something, if we do, you know, all of that, we then treat ourselves absolutely terribly. And we just, it's horrible, and no one deserves it, and we should never tell things like that to ourselves. And I know that is hard. It is not something that we can just turn off immediately and stop doing, but we need to become aware of how we treat ourselves, what we tell each other in our mind, and once we realize that it's really not the best, it's a great first step that in the right direction, because if we are aware of a problem, we can start working on fixing it. And so just pay attention to what you tell yourself and slowly try to change those thoughts in a more positive way and towards a kinder direction. And, you know, instead of telling yourself, I still haven't done this productive thing, I am absolutely useless, tell yourself, well, it's not the best that I haven't done it yet, but it's okay because I can just do it now, or I can just, you know, first, like, relax, chill out, and then do that thing. Like, it's okay. Like, think about what you would tell your best friend. What would you tell to the person you love the most in your life if they did the same thing that you did or didn't do the same thing that you didn't do, and think about what you would tell them, and that's what you should tell yourself too. Because if we are constantly mean to ourselves and everything, it will just completely destroy us, and it is just really, really bad. So please replace your negative thoughts with more positive ones. It's okay if we mess up. It's okay if we don't do something. It's okay if we do something bad. It doesn't make us bad people. It doesn't make us useless. You are good enough just the way you are, and you don't deserve to be treated like shit. No one deserves to be treated like that. And so you deserve kindness, and you can work towards being more kind to yourself. And along with that, it's also don't be too hard on yourself. It's kind of the same thing. But again, if you mess something up, if you don't do something, it's not the end of the world. People mess up sometimes. We make mistakes. Everyone does. It's not the end of the world. Everything is going to be all right. Just take it easy. Number 2, take things easy when you're overwhelmed. So we all deal with a lot of stuff most of the time. There's always so much going on. Of course, for some people it's more, for some people it's less, but a lot of the time we all deal with a ton of different things of all different kinds, and a lot of the time things can get just too much and we can be absolutely overwhelmed, whether it is because we have so much to do or it's our mental health or anything like that. If we get overwhelmed, we need to take things easy. So if there is something you've been meaning to do, if there's something that, you feel like you should be doing, but you're extremely overwhelmed, it's okay to take it easy and take a break and just relax and take a moment to yourself, and just, if you had plans with a friend or something, anything, and you're like, I can't do this right now, I'm exhausted, I am super overwhelmed, it's okay to cancel whatever you were planning on doing if you can, and just take some time for yourself to relax and, deal with all the things that are making you feel that way. Because if there's too much on our plate and we just keep on adding to it and we put so much more pressure on ourselves than we already feel, we're just gonna fall apart, and that is not good. So this still ties, the whole thread of all these things ties to being kind to yourself and taking things easy and taking everything one step at a time. That's actually another great thing to do when you're overwhelmed. Instead of thinking about everything that's happening, just think about all the things, think about how urgent all of the things are, and just think about what you need to do first and take things one step at a time. Number 3, take breaks from everything. This is another thing that I actually just talked about a little bit in my past 2 videos, how important it is to take breaks from everything. So studying, reading, writing, creating, socializing, absolutely everything. We, especially obviously the most productive and exhausting things, we need to take breaks. I'm gonna repeat the thing that I already said because I feel like that expresses it really great, because we understand that physical health, how physical health works. We're if we're sick, we don't go to work or school, we rest, we don't do anything, right? If we also need sleep because our body needs to regain energy and all of that. And also, when we are exercising or doing any difficult physical activity, we also can't keep on doing that forever, right? We need to stop and drink some water and catch our breath and all of that. We completely understand that those physical things work like that. But when it comes to the things that are mental health, or things that are also physical, like productivity, but it's not in the same way, we need to realize that that doesn't work any different. We still need breaks from that. We still need to catch our breath and drink the water, metaphorically, you know? And so anything exhausting that we do, we will need breaks from it. And if we take those breaks regularly, then we're actually going to be able to work better, we will feel better, everything will just work out better, and it's gonna be better. Please, I'm begging you, take breaks instead of just going and going and going and then completely falling apart. Please. Okay. Number 4 is don't procrastinate. I know this is a really difficult one. I think I've made videos on procrastination before, so maybe that might be helpful. I'm gonna pop it up on the screen because I've already been talking for a while, so I can't talk forever about this, but it is infinitely important. So procrastinating, people often mix up procrastinating and taking breaks. Because a lot of the time we actually procrastinate because we are exhausted and we need to take a break. But at the same time, when we do that, we are doing something else than the productive thing we're supposed to be doing. But at the same time, we're still thinking about how we need to be productive, so we feel guilty and we don't actually relax at all. And so instead of that, we need to take breaks intentionally where we actually focus on regaining energy instead of being guilty for not being productive. And we then won't be as tempted to procrastinate. But at the same time, that's not the only thing that I wanted to talk about. There's a lot of long-term things that we can often procrastinate on. So the most obvious ones are, you know, like deadlines at school or work. Like we often leave that to the last moment, which is not good. I completely get it. Like for me, doing things in advance it can be really difficult sometimes because you're like, I really don't want to do this work, and you kind of feel like you need the pressure of the time for it to push you into doing that thing. But it is always going to be so much better if we get that thing over with as soon as possible, because then if we have something productive to do and we do something fun instead first, we aren't going to be fully able to enjoy that because we're still going to have that thing in the back of our minds. One thing that I do, if I really don't want to do something like immediately, is that I completely turn it off. I'm like, on Saturday, I'm not doing this thing. I can do it later, it's fine. And I completely just turn off any thoughts of that and I focus on all the other things that I want to do. It works pretty well for me, so, you know. But any time that we have something productive to do, it's always best to do it as soon as possible, because then we're going to be so relieved, so happy, we're going to be able to enjoy all the fun things that we want to do, and it's just going to be freaking great. But at the same time, there are a lot of like long-term things that we often procrastinate on. Like, I don't know, I procrastinate on cleaning my room for ages, on, you know, like doing laundry and like any like tasks like that are kind of annoying, but it's always best to get it over with as soon as possible, because it's always going to be kind of in the back of our minds, and then it's going to be making us feel more overwhelmed and more exhausted, even though we're not actually physically really doing anything. And so please, if you can, get it over with as soon as possible. You don't have to do everything at once. Again, take everything one step at a time, and you can like relax in between. You don't have to do everything in one day, but the sooner we can get shit done, the better. So yeah, now we're actually moving on to the more like physical things that you can actually like things to do, like yeah. Number 5, when it comes to these things, is wash your makeup brushes. This is kind of really random, but it's actually like a wider thing that can relate to people who don't use makeup brushes as well. Basically, you know that you procrastinate on washing those makeup brushes for ages. And you're like, you know, it's not good for my skin, it's bad, it's gross, but you still don't do it. And then you're like, why is my skin still so bad? And you're like, oh my gosh, when was the last time I washed these brushes? I don't know, man. Like, wash those brushes, please. Like, I'm telling myself that as well, because, oh my god. So it kind of ties to the thing of not procrastinating, but at the same time, there are things that we know aren't the best for us, and we're kind of lazy to do these little things. Like, we know that we should be drinking water, we know that we should be like cleaning our makeup brushes and maybe like cleaning our phone screens and, you know, all of that, and then we don't do it because we're like, it's fine, I can do it later. But it is actually gonna take not much time to do it, so just do it. Number 6 is take time for yourself when you basically just like don't do anything and just really focus on relaxing and do all the things that you never make time to do that feel so nice, and just do it. If you have an evening free, or you can take, you know, like Saturday, the weekend, or any free day that you have, just get super comfy, put on some super comfy clothes, make yourself tea, coffee, hot chocolate, anything that feels really good. Have a really nice snack or your favorite meal, watch a really nice comforting movie, read a book, write something down. Anything that, you know, even saying that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so calming and nice. Do things like that. I know we can't probably do that every single day, but if we can do that at least once a week, it's gonna make us feel so much better. And just hell yeah. If you want me to do like a self-care evening routine or something like that, where I actually do all of these like self-care things, let me know. I can definitely do that. It's gonna make you feel so much better. You know, if you're just really stressed and overwhelmed, taking an evening like that to yourself is gonna be really, really great for you. The next one is try to eat healthy but treat yourself. Okay, obviously we know that physical health is really important, and there's a lot of talk about diets right now, and it's really, really harmful and not great. But we just need to, you know, obviously it's important to take care of ourselves in the best way that we can, but just be mindful of, you know, what's like, pay attention to your body, figure out what works for you, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel bad. Avoid that, obviously, if you can, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. And again, be kind to yourself no matter what. And yeah, obviously physical health is really important to our just overall health. I think this is a pretty obvious one, so that's why I didn't talk about it for that long. And I wanted to say another thing and I forgot about it. Oh yeah. So the last tip I have is to keep a diary. So this is probably gonna work for everyone differently, but I have kept a diary where I literally just like talk about my day, talk about anything I'm thinking about, anything I'm struggling with, and I just write it all out. And this can really, really help us feel a bit less overwhelmed. It can help us get some things off our chest, and it can just really help us figure things out and just feel better overall. And I would really recommend that. And if that's not for you, there are many like types of journals that you can keep. Anything shorter works as well. You don't have to write, you know, 2 pages every day. You can just write down a quote every day, or something you're grateful for, or anything that you're like, anything good in the world or in life that you like, or anything like that. I think that can really just help us feel so much better, and it's really great because words have power. And it's amazing, and my legs are hurting really bad. I really hope that this video was helpful. Oh my god, I love talking about this shit so much. If you have any requests on more specific topics when it comes to self-care, please tell me in the comments down below, and subscribe for more videos like this, because I'm uploading videos regularly again. Okay, that was a really weird sound. Anyway, so I'm gonna go now. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and yeah. Have a great day, and be kind to yourself. Take care of yourself. You deserve it. And yeah. So yeah. Bye.